Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Nile Cruise on Nile TV, and in this segment, dear viewers, the Museum of Islamic Art, MIA, is considered one of the greatest all over the world, with its exceptional collection of woodwork and plaster artifacts, as well as metal, ceramic, glass, crystal and textile objects of all periods from all over the Islamic world. In recent years, the museum has displayed about 4,500 artifacts in 25 different halls, but it houses more than 100,000 objects with the remainder in storage, which means it's not yet on display. The collection includes rare manuscripts of the Quran, with some calligraphy written in silver ink on pages with elaborate borders. And to know more, dear viewers, about what I've just been saying and the museum, we're honored to host Mr. Mohamed Abdel Hakim, a museum curator. A very good day, Mr. Mohamed.
Nice to me too.
Mr. Mohamed, let's start from the very beginning and go back years. When and why this place was established?
When and why? When here in 1903 the museum established at the time of Khedive Abbas Hilmi II, and it was not only the museum, but also we have another institution with in the same building. So we have the Museum of Islamic Art and we have the National Library. Both of them was in 1903 here in Bab al-Khalq Square. And why? Because before this history, before 1903, we already have the museum, but not here, not in this place, but in another place, in a mosque called Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah Mosque in Al-Mu'izz Street, which was the oldest museum for the Islamic art. And in that time the name of the museum wasn't the Islamic Art Museum or MIA, it was just the Arabic Museum, and the name still from 1903 or before this date till 1952 changed to be the Museum of Islamic Art.
Mohamed, how does this museum show the history of Islam?
The museum display many artifacts from all the Islamic countries through the ages. So we can find artifacts or objects from Umayyad, Abbasid, Ptolemid, Fatimid, Mamluk, and also it's not about the history or the periods, also about the different countries. So we can find objects from Iraq, from Syria, from Egypt, of course from Egypt, from all the countries that was under the Islamic rules. So we can find many objects from different time through different ages. So we can find it's give us a brief idea about the Islamic history through the ages.
When we talk about this place, the Museum of Islamic Art, this place, whenever it's mentioned, they say it's one of a kind, it's unique in the whole world. Why?
It's unique, first of all, because it has more than 100,000 artifacts from specific time, from the Islamic art time, or from the Islamic time. So in every museum around the world, the biggest museum or the well-known museum, Louvre, Metropolitan, the British Museum, we can find a section or department for the Islamic art. But this museum, the largest Islamic art museum all over the world, and in this museum we can find some collection like the wooden collection, ceramic collection, or any collection, but you can find the whole collections for all the Islamic object here in the museum. So you can find collection, the wooden collection, crystal collection, carpets, textile, manuscript, everything every unique object or every unique artifact related to the Islamic art you can find here in the museum.
Mohamed, some series were filmed in some museums, including this museum. How do you view this, and how far would shooting films or series at museums promote classical tourism?
This question is very difficult question to answer because it's not about the museum itself, because it's about the condition that we already live now, because in this time we are in the pandemic time for coronavirus, and it's not about the museum to get more audience or visitor to come to visit. We have many series or many videos about the museum, and it's play a role to give the audience or the visitor who interested in visiting the museum, it gives them an idea about what they will see here in the museum. But also, as I mentioned before, it's not about the museums itself, it's about the whole conditional of the tourism in Egypt, or in this time, which time you see the series. It depends on if it's in regular time. I think these videos or this series can make or can play a great role to promote to the classical tourism. But in these days, I think it's not, because it's not about the museum, it's about the whole issue.
Okay, Mohamed, you answered the question. I respect your answer, of course, and thank you for answering the question. But I was asking about the series and the movies that are shooted in different museums in different places. And of course, this is one of the museums that there are films that were shooted in here in Egypt. How does this, the shooting of series and films promote classical tourism?
Of course, it gives an idea about how the treasure that the visitors can see inside the museums, and it can be
when anybody watches and sees the artifacts and the Islamic art, culture, they probably say, we want to go and visit this place, exactly like the Mecca, where the Egyptian Museum of Civilization, where the series of Nile was shooted over there, and everybody ran to this place to see where.
No, I know.
That's what
I get your, yes, I get the point. But we have a great movie, a very famous movie. Yes, here in the museum, it's the whole movie about the museum, about an object inside the museum. We talk about the Fil Azra, or the blue elephant. It's yes, it's very famous one, very successful also, and we have we have two parts. The part one and part two, and the main idea for the film, for the movie, about the a magic shirt that we can find here in the museum, and this shirt full of talismanic numbers and talismanic words. Yes, of course, it's give the idea for the visitor. Oh, I want to go to this museum to see the magic shirt. What if I can buy another one for the shirt and I wear it? Yes, of course, it gives the museum a free advertisement for the museum. And yes, many people after that film maybe asked about the museum and how they could to visit the museum and how they can see the magic shirt, and it's imagination about how they can, if they stand front the shirt, the magic shirt, what is the talismanic looks like, how they can translate this talismanic to the reality.
That's wonderful, and the Fil al-Azra, of course, is one of the wonderful, successful films that we all love watching, Mohamed. So it sent a message to the entire world that the Islamic Museum is a very important place that we should be visiting.
But for the museums, yeah, all the people who interested in Islamic art around the world, they know that the museum, it's a great museum. It's one of the greatest museum in the world, especially in this time, in the time of art of Islam. They know well about the museum, but the point that we can talk about is about the another audience, the people who don't know about any information about the Islamic museum or Islamic treasure that we can find in the museum. I think that movie or the movies or the series, yes, helps, of course.
Okay, moving to the important artifact in this place, the first thing that attracts the visitors whenever he enters the store.
Again, for the people who are interested in, I think all the object, because all of them is very rare and very old. We talk about the oldest object, or the only example for this object, because in the museum we can find many objects here. It's the only one. It's the oldest one. It's the object or the artifact that it changed the history of this object or this industry. So for the people who are interested, all the object is very unique and is very they will be very grateful to see this object. But for the non-interesting or for the non-educated, not educated not educated for the Islamic art, I think we can talk about the coins, the swords, because we have in the museum a wonderful gallery for the coins. We can see the non-Arabic coins, or the coins that the Prophet ﷺ and all the people after him deal with. I mean, the Sassanid or the Byzantine coins, and we have the oldest example for the Arabic and Islamic coins. And we have many golden and silver coins, and also we have it's one gallery for the coins and swords. We have many swords from gold and silver and diamond. So I think this gallery will be very interesting for the audience.
What type of nationalities, or what are the nationalities that are really interested to come and visit the museum, Mohamed?
Yes, I think for the foreigner people, for the foreigner audience, it can be Indian, and maybe Indian, Pakistan, and yes, also Indonesian people, and also another European countries from Germany or Spain or France. But we talk about the Indian or Iranian people. Many Iranian people also here come to visit the museum, because we have 3 galleries for the Fatimid times, and the Fatimid, it's about the Shia doctrine. So the people from Shia doctrine interested to come and visit these galleries. So we have many from India and Iranian, and maybe Pakistani also.
If we talk about the technology and how does it plays an important role in promoting for this place, what's your opinion and what's your ideas about how to promote for this important place, not only in Egypt but around the world?
I think we already have our own website for the museum. It's international website, and also we have our mobile app also for the collection of the museum. And we have our social media accounts, so we can contact to anyone around the world. And also we working on a system that we can display in the museum, which called the guiding system, that allow to the audience to see or to check the information about the whole collection inside the museum itself, using a touch screen or another technology devices.
Okay, Mohamed, of course, in light of the coronavirus pandemic, which is everywhere all over the world and is global, what are the precautionary measures that the museum takes during the COVID-19 pandemic?
We already closed the museum for a while.
So it's closed now?
No, it's not. Now it's not, because at that it was at the lockdown, the first time of coronavirus. Yes, the first wave. Yes. So we already closed the museum, but now it's open for all audience. They can come to visit. We have advised to measure the temperature in the entrance hall. We have advised to measure the temperature for all.
And it's a really different device. It's my first time to see it when I came into the museum.
It's using the camera. Yeah, so you can see yourself if you wanted to. It's kind of camera. It's a device. It's very update device, so you can measure your temperature, and also wearing a mask. Is not allowed for the people, for the audience, to enter the museum without mask, and also you have to keep the distance, or it's not social distance here. It's the distance between you and the other visitors. And we have labels or markers or sign on the floor that show to whole audience that this is the way, or this is the sign. You have to stand here, and yes, around here around the showcases. So we already have a sign on the floor to allow or to show the people, for the audience, how they can enjoy to direct. And also, if we have a showcase, for example, in every showcase we have a sign around it. It's not allowed for the whole group to see the same showcase at the same times. For example, for one showcase we have 4 signs. It means here that it's only for visitors that they can see this showcase, and the other we have 5 or 6 or just 2 signs. It depends on the space of the gallery and the space of the showcase.
Well, Mohamed Abdel Hakim, Museum Curator, thank you very much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Mohamed, for joining us. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much for your informative knowledge. Dear viewers, this was this segment of Nile Cruise. Stay with us. We'll be back again.